Welcome to our first micro chat of 2023. So, let me start with, are you feeling stuck in your life, or perhaps you've felt that way some other time in your life? Our guest today is the first in our series. She's a psychotherapist, she's a best selling author, and her name is Britt Frank. Now, she's an award winning adjunct professor. She's worked in the drug and alcohol field. She's worked at a children's psychiatric hospital, and now she's in private practice. And she has put together a book that is truly a roadmap for moving through procrastination, stagnation, just being stuck. I was reading your book, and this sentence really did take my breath away. And maybe it shouldn't have. I mean, maybe a simple sentence, but I really sat and thought, oh my gosh, I never thought of it this way. You wrote that a brain is wired for survival, not for happiness. Could you talk more about that?
Learning that our brains are not wired for success, they're wired for survival, was really the piece of information that unlocked this entire journey for me personally. It's not that I'm a bad person. It's that if I do not know that my brain's wiring, its operating system, I didn't design it. I didn't design your brain. I don't know how it got designed, but the design is first in service of survival, and secondly, in service of goals, the things that we want to do, our dreams, our relationships, all of these higher level thinking cognitive functions, which, yay, being human, we get to do that. If you don't know that your brain's wiring will default to fight, flight, freeze, and all of the mess that comes from that, then you're going to feel like the problem is you. And when we learn, not only is our brain wired for survival, we can change that. And again, first responders and military are very much trained to override the fight, flight, freeze response. Their jobs depends upon their knowing how to stay out of survival physiology. At least in, the problem of PTSD in those industries is a whole nother topic. But none of us were taught, hey, here's how to tell when your brain is going into this default survival zone. And everyone says the same thing. Well, why is my brain doing that? I don't understand why it's in survival mode. Nothing is happening. There's nothing wrong. And it's so important to know, don't worry about the why. You don't need to know why a building's on fire to put it out. You don't need to know why someone is bleeding to patch them up. And you actually do not need to know why your brain is defaulting to a survival response to stop it, to pivot, and to move it somewhere else. But again, we get so bogged down that I need to understand why. We're drowning in information, and we're all in our own ways stuck with something. So there's a disconnect. And I'm a therapist that loves to analyze saying this. Do not start with why. We'll deal with why after the fire is put out. We'll deal with what caused the accident after the people are safe. When you toss the why and you get into what are my choices? What are my micro yeses? How can I start to shift my physiology from its default state to a choice-based state? That's when everything changes. It's remarkable.